Hi, my name's Alex Webb, and my presentation is over Vietnam. Um, Imagine you're in the jungle, you land from a helicopter. You're expecting a 12, 13-hour day, you don't know what to expect. You're mentally drained, and one of your partners, through 6 hours of hiking, falls into a trap, goes through his leg. It gets extremely infected, and you have to rush him back to the medical tent and hope he survives. Many did not survive, and that was unfortunate. And this was a life was like in Vietnam. This was also the first televised attack. This meant this was the first war where video live footage was actually reported on news stations, and many people got to see what how the war was and how horrifying it was. So my first main topic is that affected that made this war different from any other war was how the use of guerrilla warfare and the Ho Chi Minh Trails. So the Ho Chi Minh Trails were an extremely thought out, well designed, took years to make, from all the way up from North Vietnam all the way down to the southern border of Vietnam. And I have a picture here. It's kind of blurry, but it shows the Vietnam Trails and all where they led to and um, how well planned out they were and all the escape routes. And these not only were these just trails to get around, you could live in these for I think it was about a year. There were supplies for about a year living, excuse me. Technological advancements in the time include the use of napalm and Agent Orange. Separated this from any war. Agent Orange was completely new. This was used to destroy jungles because the immense jungle that Vietnam had, as well as the use of napalm, which I have a picture, I think, right here. Picture right here of this is an extremely famous picture that was televised. Um, you can see the kids crying, the girl in the middle holding her arms up because of the flames burning so much. And this was the first televised war, so this also led to my next point of how the war was so different. This led to protests because many people saw how terrible this war was and how just bad it was. This led to protests. I have a picture here of a Vietnam protest. Right here, you can see war erodes the Great Society. The Great Society was essentially a foundation for different things, but one main thing was education, funding for education. And the Vietnam War essentially stopped the Great Society funding for education, which was thought of as a progressive program at the time that many wanted to be a success. And the funding for the Vietnam War was the main part. All the funding would go to the war instead of anything really progressive, I guess. Um, Research process. All right, hold up. Let me go to. All right, so the research process. Several key discoveries about myself and a researcher, as I found, like how much I enjoyed this project. The Vietnam War I found really interesting. It was mainly because the Vietnam War was super interesting. Typically with research projects, I just get it done with, write the essay in 10 minutes, whatever, an hour, whatever, and get over with it. But I really enjoyed learning about the war. Um, Obstacles or difficulties I had to overcome. I'd say an obstacle I had to overcome was the making sure I kept up to date with the work every day. And Bavarnik and Cassie helped out with this by creating due dates that were due by this time. Like the first paragraph was due this time, the second paragraph was due this time, the outline was due this time, which really helped. Advice for JRP success for future high school or junior students. Don't procrastinate. Make sure you don't procrastinate. That's extremely important. It'll help you create a well thought out essay and leave times for planning and creating an overall better essay. So this leads me to major points that I haven't already shared. Why did Vietnam start exactly? This started because of essentially McCarthyism, and then eventually it was essentially the domino theory and how communism would take over the world if you just let it go. And the turning point in the war was the Tet Offensive, and this attack was a political success by the North Vietnamese, and they used this to end the war in '75 with South Vietnamese troops. Thank you for listening. That's my project over.